Alright, so tonight's lesson is lesson 111, and we are multiplying decimals by 10, 100, and 1,000. And there is a kind of a trick, kind of like when we are multiplying a whole number by a 10 or a 100 or 1,000. So that's what we're going to learn today, is kind of this trick that we can do. Instead of having to work out the whole problem, do all of the multiplication, I'm going to show you another easier and faster way to do it. Okay, go ahead and write this down. This is very important. The number of places we shift the decimal point is the same as the number of zeros we see in 10, 100, and 1,000. So this is true. We're going to do this problem first. This is something that, we've been taught to do several times. When you have a whole number times a 10, or 100, or 1,000, you look at the number of zeros, and that is the number that you add on to the end of the whole number. So when I show you 10 times 34, you immediately know that this is 340. You have 1 0 in 10, so you add 1 0 onto the end of that 34. Okay, when we do this with decimals, it's kind of the same thing, except instead of adding a 0, we're moving our decimal point. So if I have a 10, I only have 1 0, which means I'm moving my decimal point only one place. Now, when you do a multiplication and division, a multiplication problem, and I told you to count your decimal places and then move your decimal, we're doing the same thing like that, except the other way. Okay, think about it this way. If you're multiplying this decimal number by 10, you're wanting to make that number bigger. Okay, so I take my decimal point, I only move it once. So I take it and I move it to the right one way, and I would get 3 4/10, or 3.4. Now I moved it to the right because I'm getting 10 times bigger. I'm multiplying 34 hundredths by 10, 10 times bigger. 1 0, only move it to the right once. Think about it. If you move it to the left, you're going to make that 10 times smaller, much, much, much smaller. We're getting bigger. Okay, let's go to the next one. And I look, and I have 2 zeros. So I'm going to be moving my decimal point 2 times. I'm multiplying by 100, so I'm getting 100 times bigger. Okay, so I'm taking my decimal point, moving it to the right. 1, 2. My new answer now is 123 4/10. Okay, do you see how we're getting bigger? Think about it. When you're multiplying, you are getting much, 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 much bigger. It should make sense when you're doing these problems. Okay, the next one. I have 1 0, so I'm going to be moving my decimal point one time, moving it to the right because I'm getting bigger, equal to 56 7/10. Alright, and the next one, I have 3 zeros, 1,000. 1, 2, 3. So I'm moving this decimal point. 1, 2, 3. Now my answer is 345. See how my decimal point's at the end? This could also be 0.0 or 0/10, but it could also be just a whole number, 345. Okay, so this is kind of an easier lesson. Obviously, it's going to be shorter because we're just focusing on moving those decimal points. Always keep in mind, at the top, the number of places you shift the decimal point is the same as the number of zeros. Okay, so count how many zeros you have. Remember, we're moving it to the right because we're getting bigger. If you can't remember which way you move it, do your answer and see if if it makes sense, or see if you're getting bigger. If you're getting smaller, right away you know, okay, I went to the wrong direction, and try it again by doing the right direction. Always go to the right, making it bigger. Here's our lesson practice. So you have 4 problems. These are pretty quick, and we will check them tomorrow.